There is a software company from Albania that has generated over $3 million in annual recurring revenue. It has over 500,000 registered users and has published over 5 million posts. All of this started by an Albanian who decided to leave America to come back to Tirana with only $60,000 in his savings and no investors behind him. That company is Publer, one of the most complete social media management platforms built outside of Silicon Valley. But here is what makes it interesting. Because how does a software business from Albania not only avoid getting left behind as AI reshapes its entire market, but use that shift to grow in a different way compared to their competitors? And this isn't a conversation about whether Publer can implement AI. It already has. The real question is, what happens when every tool on the market has the same features? What is left that actually makes consumers choose you instead of going to your competitors? And this isn't just a story about one software company. Because the pattern I keep on seeing with Albanian businesses is this. They do the hard work of building the infrastructure, attracting users, and sounding impressive. But they are not teaching the market how to use what they've built. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what that gap looks like and what I believe should be done about it. What is the origin of one of Albania's most successful startups? It is 2012 and Ervin Kalemi is a computer science graduate in Houston, Texas. He is working a full-time developer job, maintaining a couple Facebook apps on the side. And his brother has just opened a travel agency, where his brother needs a tool to schedule his Facebook posts. And that is where Publer started. Not with a huge business plan, but with his brother's problem that he started his first prototype. But the first decision that actually matters came 2 years later. Because Ervin was working until 3 in the morning every night, building on top of his full-time job. His body gives out and he decides to shut down Publer and refund all of his customers. Most people would have called that the end, but Ervin decided on his 25th birthday to book a one-way ticket to Albania. He moves back to his parents' house in Tirana with $60,000 saved from his apps and decides to give Publer a real shot. And the third decision defined what Publer became. In 2018, at the exact moment Ervin is rebuilding the whole product with a new team, 2 things happen at once. Facebook suspends parts of Publer's access due to the Cambridge Analytica fallout, and Ervin's father is diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. But he decides to keep on building, which has led to Publer now generating over $3 million in annual recurring revenue. The lesson in the origin is Ervin decided to come back to Albania to build something here. And even with every obstacle he faced, he decided to keep building. And every number Publer carries today is a result of that decision. So let me break down the business model of Publer. Layer 1 is their SaaS product. Publer is a social media management platform with a lot of tools. Scheduling, publishing, analytics, AI, workspaces, media library, content recycling, link in bio, and now automation via APIs. The pricing is freemium, which means users start free and the product earns as they grow. And what Publer got right from the beginning is something most Albanian businesses miss entirely. They built for a global market from day one. Layer 2 is their growth engine. Publer did not go through paid advertising in its early stage. It grew from the Ambassadors program, a referral system that is still one of its top organic channels. It grew through AppSumo, a platform for lifetime software deals, which at the time of their launch gave them tens of thousands of users and credible reviews. It also grew through Ervin himself, who decided to start building in public on LinkedIn, sharing online about Publer's mistakes, decisions, and revenues, which he mentioned in a recent video was one of his biggest regrets not building publicly from day one. Layer 3 is their product depth. Publer has survived 2 major platform crises: Facebook's API restrictions in 2018 and Twitter's API fee increases in 2023, and each time they had to adapt. They added more layers to the product so that they were less dependent on any single platform. Publer now supports 13 social media platforms, has a standalone link in bio product called Linky, and is building Kibble, which is a customer communication and CRM layer that would move Publer from social media management into full customer journey. The product is not just a scheduler anymore. It is an operating system for small businesses' online presence. Layer 4 is where they're going next. API access, Zapier and Make integrations, multilingual support across 6 languages, AI that learns from your post performance, and mobile apps generating direct revenue. They have given their customers more power than most small businesses know what to do with. And that is exactly where that core tension lives. Here is the exact reason that Publer's next move shouldn't just be more tools. Publer's features are great, but the real gap is harder to see, and it's not about the product at all. Every platform is adding more automations, more content generation, more scheduling intelligence, and more ways to analyze what you posted. And for a small business owner sitting in front of Publer for the first time, it's less exciting and more overwhelming. Because the biggest barrier to growth for most businesses right now is not access to technology. It is knowing how to make technology actually work for them. Because AI builds efficiency and makes everything seem faster, but speed without direction is just noise. And most businesses right now are reducing that noise, with posting more, automating more, and generating more content, without understanding whether any of that is actually making the business move forward. The gap between the tool existing and the businesses knowing how to use it properly is called the adoption problem. And right now, as those tools keep on evolving quickly, that gap keeps on getting wider. Because when a business owner opens Publer and sees the plethora of tools they have available to them, they try a few things, and when they receive the data, they don't actually know what it's telling them. And that means that even though they have a great tool, they don't know how to make that into their system. And the company that decides to step into that space, they become the authority, not just on what to use, but how to use it. Because the next battleground in SaaS is not about who builds the best tools. It is about who is teaching the market how to use it. This is what I would do if I was leading on Publer's strategy. I would build on Publer's authority as an educator, but not just on generic advice. The opportunity is to become a resource that speaks directly to specific businesses about what they actually need right now. Because a restaurant does not have the same content problems as a law firm, and a freelancer does not have the same automation needs compared to an e-commerce brand. And for a business in 2026 trying to understand where to use AI, whether that be for captions, image generation, scheduling, or strategy, they need someone to guide them on what to use now for their specific situation. Publer has 500,000 users with a range of different businesses and years of behavioral data that shows what works for specific types of businesses, such as understanding which automations make a real difference for agencies compared to sole founders, or which posting rhythms convert better for small businesses versus the international businesses. That is the foundation of an education layer that not many can replicate, because it is not just generic advice pulled from a random marketing department. It is insight from real operator behavior at scale, specific to the type of business you are actually running. And the scope of that education can go beyond Publer's own features, such as understanding what is the best AI image tool right now, or which scheduling approach works best for businesses operating 3 different business pages, what is actually changing in each social media platform's algorithm, and what that means for local service businesses that are trying to grow organically. Publer can become the place that answers those questions, and then shows you exactly how to execute that problem within their product. Because the education is the entry point, and the product is where that lands. And as Publer gets more integrated across AI tools and platforms, every new development in this ever-changing market becomes an opportunity to teach. And with that, bring them directly into Publer. Here is what Publer teaches us beyond software. Ervin made a choice that a lot of people in Albania are only just starting to understand. He had America, he had a great career, and he had everything that the generation before him worked for. And he still decided to leave it all behind. And that wasn't because Albania was easier or the financial incentives were there. It's because he had something to prove, and he wanted to prove it here. And Publer proves that you do not have to be in Silicon Valley to build a product that the world uses. You do not have to have the biggest investors or a team of 50. You just need a problem that's worth solving, the resilience to keep building every time it breaks, and the clarity to understand exactly what your customer needs. Publer has the product, it has the data, and it has their founder's story. The next chapter is teaching the people who use it and how to become better at what they're trying to build. Because the company that teaches a customer how to win is usually the company that the consumers trust to help them execute. If you're someone who is building in Albania or the diaspora, or someone who wants to learn more about the Albanian business ecosystem, please do subscribe.